Today, we're examining a pivotal question in Islam. Is Muhammad the final prophet? This question has profound theological implications and is central to Islamic belief. Using AI to analyze historical sources and religious texts, we'll aim to explore this topic logically with evidence-based insights that are free from emotional bias. Let's start by understanding the core Islamic belief regarding prophethood. In Islam, Muhammad is often referred to as the seal of the prophets, Khatam, an-Nabiyyin, a title mentioned in Surah Al-Ahzab 33:40 in the Quran. Muhammad is not the father of any of your men, but he is the messenger of Allah and the seal of the prophets. This verse is widely interpreted by mainstream Muslims to mean that Muhammad is the final prophet, with no prophet to come after him. This belief is central to Islamic theology and differentiates Islam from religions that anticipate future prophets. According to traditional Islamic scholars, prophethood ended with Muhammad, and the Quran is the final revelation meant for all of humanity. In this view, the concept of finality in prophethood signifies that Muhammad's message was complete and universal, covering all aspects of life. However, is this belief universally accepted? While the majority of Muslims agree that Muhammad is the final prophet, there are some groups within Islam that have different interpretations. For example, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, which emerged in the 19th century, believes that their founder, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, was a prophet in a limited sense. Ahmadis argue that the term seal of the prophets doesn't necessarily exclude the possibility of other prophets who do not bring new laws, but instead reinforce Muhammad's message. This view, however, is rejected by mainstream Islamic scholars who consider it incompatible with the traditional understanding of prophethood in Islam. From a deductive standpoint, the debate hinges on the interpretation of Khatam an-Nabiyyin. For mainstream Muslims, this phrase clearly implies finality. For the Ahmadiyya community and some minority groups, it leaves room for non-legislative prophethood, meaning prophets who would not introduce new teachings but would serve as renewers of the existing message. This difference shows how a single phrase can be subject to varying interpretations, depending on theological and historical context. Now let's look at historical context and the role of prophets in Islam. In Islamic tradition, prophets are messengers chosen by God to guide humanity. Islam acknowledges many prophets, from Adam to Moses to Jesus, each delivering a message appropriate for their communities and times. Muhammad, however, is seen as unique, as his message was meant to be the final and universal guidance for all people. This finality in prophethood is significant in distinguishing Islam from other Abrahamic religions. In Judaism, for instance, the arrival of the Messiah is anticipated as a figure of ultimate guidance. In Christianity, Jesus is considered the divine Son of God, and his return is expected. But in Islam, Muhammad's role as the final prophet indicates that all necessary guidance was completed with him, and the Quran is considered timeless and sufficient for all of humanity. Inductively, we can conclude that Islam's view of finality in prophethood establishes a unique theological framework. By closing the line of prophets, Islam emphasizes reliance on the Quran and the Sunnah, traditions of Muhammad, as comprehensive sources for spiritual and moral guidance. But why is the belief in Muhammad as the final prophet so important in Islam? This concept is not only theological, but also serves to protect the integrity of Islamic teachings. Without additional prophets, the core message remains unaltered, preserving the Quran as the last revelation. If prophethood were open-ended, new prophets could potentially introduce changes or additions to the message, which could lead to fragmentation within the religion. Historically, this belief has helped maintain a unified Islamic doctrine, preventing sects from claiming new prophecies that could reinterpret foundational teachings. While differences exist within Islamic schools of thought, the shared belief in the finality of prophethood has contributed to a sense of unity and continuity within the Muslim world. Deductively, we can conclude that this principle of finality serves to maintain consistency in Islamic teachings, making it a critical aspect of the faith. However, the finality of prophethood also raises questions about spiritual guidance for future generations. Some argue that without new prophets, Muslims may lack direct guidance in adapting to modern issues. In response, Islamic scholars point to the Quran's adaptability and the role of ijtihad, or independent reasoning, which allows scholars to interpret the Quran's teachings in light of new circumstances. Additionally, the concept of mujadid, or renewer, exists in Islamic thought. These are individuals believed to appear every century to renew and revitalize the faith without claiming prophethood. This approach suggests that while prophethood may have ended, the door remains open for renewal and interpretation, allowing Islam to adapt while preserving its core beliefs. From an inductive perspective, this process of ijtihad and renewal demonstrates how Islam aims to balance finality in prophethood with the need for ongoing spiritual guidance. What does this mean for modern Muslims? The belief in Muhammad as the final prophet provides a sense of stability and continuity, but it also challenges Muslims to engage with their faith independently. Without new prophets, Muslims are encouraged to deepen their understanding of the Quran and apply its teachings through scholarship and reflection. This concept also affects interfaith relations. For example, while Christians and Jews may anticipate future prophets or messianic figures, Muslims generally see the line of prophecy as complete. This distinction shapes how Muslims view other religions' claims of prophetic figures or revelations. By emphasizing the finality of Muhammad's message, Islam positions itself as the completion of the Abrahamic tradition. To sum up, is Muhammad the final prophet in Islam? Based on traditional Islamic teachings and the interpretations of most scholars, the answer is yes. The Quranic phrase, seal of the prophets, is understood by mainstream Muslims to signify that Muhammad's message is complete, and no other prophet will follow him. This belief in finality has become a cornerstone of Islamic identity, preserving the integrity of the Quran and preventing theological fragmentation. If you found this analysis informative, please like this video and subscribe for more explorations into faith, theology, and the intersection of history and belief. Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you see finality in prophethood as beneficial for unity, or do you think it limits spiritual growth? And if you know someone interested in this topic, please share this video with them. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to exploring more thought-provoking questions with you in the next video.